Hello everyone, I'm Denise Love. Here's a little preview of what we're going to be doing today. So let's get started. I thought, since I just did that art haul where we had these QoR watercolors and these lovely earth colors, that I thought, since I still had those on my watercolor palette, I thought we'd make some landscapes with that, because I kind of made some abstracts with it, just testing it out and playing with the color. But now I'm thinking maybe I could do some really cool kind of abstract landscapes with it. And maybe these are starting to dry, so I'll throw some water on there. I really liked the reds and the oranges with that little touch of blue kind of shining in there. So I thought, well, I'm going to use my Winston Newton bamboo brush number 4 and just kind of create something fun with these watercolors. The paper's dry. I don't like working on the wet paper for landscapes because I want that color to sit where I put it. And so I'm working on dry paper and then lots of water on that brush. And I'm just kind of working that paint up the page here. I may need to put some more of this watercolor out. I want some light areas and some dark areas, and I want it to kind of just do some fun, real thick areas like that. I like the variations there. And I'm kind of working that yellow to the top, really, because that's going to be like our lighter sky area, kind of like we're, you know, at the mountains, and we're looking out in the deep view of a mountain scene. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but it's real dark kind of in the foreground. It gets lighter as it goes back. So I thought it might be just fun to kind of play in these. See a little thread coming out and just see, you know, what can we get blending these into kind of an abstract yummy landscape set, which I love doing these. And I like it with the bamboo brush because it's so unpredictable, and you know, I'm just barely skimming that page. Some people say they've tried it and they haven't quite caught the knack of that, and it's just some practice. And some of it too is, you know, I'm painting it originally and you're probably looking at it trying to duplicate what I'm doing, and it's always harder to be the one duplicating rather than the one painting it originally. I don't know if you've ever noticed that, but it just is. All right, so let's come in here with this third color. I'm just kind of working my way around the palette of colors. It was a little 6-pack of colors, and I want to see these colors kind of mesh and blend and do their thing. And then in that, ooh, I didn't mean to do that, but it's okay. I'll just spread that around. In that art haul, I accidentally got a little bit of blue in mine, and it made the most beautiful colors in there. And so I actually want to kind of duplicate that feel that I had kind of created and throw some blue out here and just see what does that look like. Might not like it, but might love it. So just all about the play and the discovery, just testing out things that you've never tried. And this QoR watercolor is new to me. I've never tried it before. It's a different kind of binder. It's a binder that archivists use, and it's a little more pigmented, so it looks different than a lot of watercolors. And I like to do more than one at a time because usually one is not my favorite, and then maybe one is like my most favorite. And so if you only did one and you're like, oh, I hated it, then that sucks. You might not try it again. But if you do 3 or 4 at a time, it's always going to be one that's like, aha, this one's amazing. I really like what these colors are doing as they're mixing, and I'm going to pick this up and show you this right here. Look at this area right here. That is so cool. And I really like the darkness I've got on this one. So 2 out of the 3 I'm actually really loving. So I think I'm gonna let this dry and then we can mark make on top of it. So I'll be right back. So I'm sitting here just kind of looking at these, and I actually recently got some Daler Rowney FW Pearlescent Gold ink. And I'm thinking, you know what? Because of that yellow in there, I kind of feel like this is a color that could possibly go good with this set. And it's a good opportunity, because I was already going to mark make in gold. It's a good opportunity to kind of see what's this ink look like. And so I like it because these are already still wet, so that ink kind of has a chance to move and blend and spread into the watercolor. And I'm trying to kind of keep it still as the landscapey kind of feel, and just putting some of this in. And we'll just see what it looks like when it's dry. We'll just see what we get. And another thing that I could have done, which I haven't, I guess I might still have enough that's wet, but we could have put salt on this if we wanted to add some salt texture. We could have done that also. So that's super cool. I like the way this one's kind of spreading in there. Okay, so I'm gonna let this dry and then I'll be back. Another thing I thought of, it's not quite dry, but as I'm sitting here looking at this and thinking, we could also drip water in certain areas and just kind of let it do some texture in our piece. And if it's dry, we're going to end up with definite spots of water that kind of ring themselves with whatever color I've reactivated. But if it's still kind of damp, then that water is gonna kind of bloom out and make pretty things. And these are getting kind of dry, so this is gonna be more of an interesting kind of mark that I'm adding on here with these the brush tip. So I just thought I'd mention that, just to see what we get, some extra texture in there. So I'm gonna be brave here and do something crazy. It's in these crazy moments that you discover things that end up amazing, or end up like, I'm never gonna do that again. So this is a stencil from joggles.com, and it's called Rectangle Motif. And I ordered several stencils from them just to play and have fun. And this is just some fusion paint. That's a mineral furniture paint basically, but it's the right color. And I'm gonna come through here and just do something crazy and not even worry about it. And I went outside the line there. Brr! Do it on the one that you're not afraid to give up. Oh, see, now look at that. That's actually super cool. And now I see that I should have gone even further. I don't even mind that I got outside the lines, but what if we just, because this is abstract, it doesn't have to be exactly what you started at. Just thinking, what if? Okay, so that's super fun. I actually kind of do love that. Maybe a little softer. Maybe a little softer. What would we think if we kind of did a little softer, kind of down the middle? Oh, let's try it. Really soft. I don't want it to be nearly so heavy. And just see, like, what would that look like? Brr. All right, let's see. What do we get? Oh, see, now that's super cool. I'm still getting some of the dark from the watercolor. Almost kind of thinking, I love that. Let's not do it on the third one though. Let's say, okay, we played and tried that. Kind of feeling like maybe it needs some dots. Are you feeling dots? What are you feeling? Also, for some reason, I'm kind of digging this thing. I'm kind of thinking over here, maybe we should try it. This is a square study mask by Joggles. And I pulled it out first, and then I thought, no, we're doing landscapes, but we don't have to do landscapes. We can kind of move these around and kind of decide, you know, what do we want to create on. We have one landscape, pick another color, and just see, like, what can we get? Like, I'm almost thinking, what about this yummy yellow? It's another fusion paint. And these are the little sample pots of these fusion things. They're the little sample pots. And so this is Seaside and this is Prairie Sunset. These are like touch-up sized. And maybe I had a little piece of paper to kind of start it off. let's just see. Let's just go crazy on one of them, and then we kind of know like what these do for things that are more important. Okay, that just looks kind of not what I expected. Might not be the best project to put that one on. That one's looking kind of cool though, but I am feeling like I need dots. So we could either make dots ourselves with our little craft dauber. That could be fun. Or we could use Punchinella, but I was trying to give you some other options here. Or let's just try these over here. Or what we could do, we'll call this our junk one. What we could do is do, you know, Posca pen dots and marks and stuff too. Okay, I kind of like that now that I extended the yellow actually. It's kind of like, oh, okay, so that has a purpose to be there. Okay. Okay, we're getting there in our experimenting. This is how we discover fun, interesting stuff. I like the little gold too, that pearlescent, FW pearlescent ink. Look how pretty that gold is. It shines really nice. So we can come back in here, we can make marks, we can do dots, you can get creative. You know, I'm definitely a dot girl. Come back in, maybe do some mark making, add some different textures in here, and just see. And usually when I'm doing this, I let the watercolor areas be my guide so that I can, you know, have stop and start places. And so, let's see, maybe I'll come back in here. This is just the Faber-Castell Pitt Artist Brush Pen in a B, and this is just a black India ink pen basically, which I like because it will dry and not smear if something wet gets on it. So I do like, and now that I'm making these pretty little lines, I actually really like this pen. Even more so than I was kind of hoping. It's got a really nice control to it, and I like that it's the longer brush length on the front of the pen. Good one. Somebody asked me in one of my videos recently, have I ever picked up a supply that I've absolutely hated? And I don't know that I have. I do pick up plenty of supplies that I put away and then forget I have. So it must not have made much of an impression, or I wasn't interested in that medium. But I don't know that I've ever just disliked something intensely to the point where I'm like, I should just throw this away. I don't think I've had that issue. I like all the supplies. I'm an art junkie, an art supply junkie. And for years and years, art supplies and art making were two different hobbies for me. I would collect plenty of supplies, but you know what? Finally, now that I make the art workshops and the YouTube videos and stuff, now I have married my two hobbies in regards to art things, and technically with photography, because I do filming and I take the photos of the pictures. So really that's 3 hobbies that I'm now combining into one thing. How impressed are you? So what we could also do, let's do this because I want to talk about the gold mica ink that I love so much. I noticed in one of these projects I did recently that it seemed really thick and it wasn't coming out of my pen, and I thought, did I break my pen? What the heck? And I've noticed if your ink gets really thick, it no longer does these pretty, you know, draw the circles and stuff. So, you know, it sits on my table, and every time it sits on my table it gets a little drier and a little drier, and it just gets thicker and a little thicker. So if you start using your pen and all of a sudden it's really not working the way that you always thought it was supposed to work, your ink might be too thick. And put some water in the ink and it'll thin that back out to give you pretty lines again. And let me tell you, that was like a light bulb moment, because I thought, oh my gosh, I love this pen so much. Why is it not working the same way it's always worked? I'm putting some circles in here because I like them. And we'll just put some little pearls on our circles because I like those too. But man, I was kind of getting disgusted with my very, very favorite pen that I like to tell everybody on the planet about because I think everybody needs it. And it wasn't doing what I thought it should be doing. So if you see one of the projects that I recently did, don't know when you'll be watching this, but it's one of the few videos like right before this video in the line of videos. You'll think, gosh, that is real thick and I'm not sure I like how that's coming out. It's because my ink got too thick. So I have gone in, because this is water-based ink, I went to the sink and put a bunch of water in it and shook it all up, and now the pen is magically making the lovely thin lines that I always loved. And I'm going to put some writing down here. I mean, it just was not cooperating at all, and I'm like, what is going on? And the ink was too thick. Just a fun little tip there for you. If you've got this pen and you're thinking it's not working like I see it working for you. And just if you got this pen new, these come with oils on them, so you need to wash those oils off so that the ink actually sticks to the nib. And I did that with some toothpaste. I'm just I like the acymic writing. It's just a little bit of implied writing there, and you're like, what does that say? You think it says something, but you're not quite sure what it says. And you also want to clean your nibs pretty frequently while you're using them, so they doesn't get all gummed up. The ink doesn't get all stuck in the nib. I just rinse it with water and I'm good. So if you're using the ink and it doesn't seem to want to come off that nib, go add some water to your ink if it's water-based ink, because it starts getting thicker when you leave it sitting out. It gets too thick. Okay, so now feeling pretty good. Okay, so this one probably needs some more marks or something on top to really make that finished. This one I feel like was kind of this was my experiment. This was my, okay, test out the things I think I love. This was my yummy piece of art for today. So you see why I like to do more than one, because if I started here, I'd have been angry. Let's peel these off and see what they look like. And I don't remember if I told you what that paper was, but it's this Fabriano 1264, 140-pound cold press paper. I don't think it's cotton because it doesn't say, and they're usually proud to tell you if it's cotton. And I like working on cotton papers most, and especially with these landscapes, cotton papers work that paint a little differently than papers with cellulose. But because this came recently, I just thought it came in the paletful pack. Because it came and I have it, I thought might as well use it, test it out, see if we like it. And it's okay. I would not say it's my favorite paper, but I am enjoying it. Ooh, okay, look at this one. And if I shine that in the light, you can see all the pretty shiny bits. Okay, I'm happy with that one. This one is a 50-50. It's okay. You can still see the shiny bits. This one definitely was my test and my toy, my play with these. And this is exactly the one that I would, we're gonna cut this up. Let's just do it. Looky here. Check it out. Show you what I do with these. And no piece of art is bad. No piece of art is bad. Now we can take our little heart, our heart stamper here, and we can make some, look, we can make some, oh my gosh, see, look how good those are as a little heart. And so these are gonna be really, oh my gosh, this all of a sudden even makes the bad art look amazing. Doesn't even matter where you clip it, it looks good. So these are good for collage pieces, cutting out little hearts, things like this. Make sure okay, so I've kind of cut that in bad spots to get any more out of it, but it can be collage pieces. And then we can add that to our little lovely dessert tray. And this is my little dessert thing that I make my little art prompts. And so now I have some more lovely little heart art prompts to add to my little cup, and I can put a prompt on the back and they are ready to stick in my dessert cup. Look how pretty those are. So those actually, see, even the bad art can look amazing when you cut it up into other shapes. Alright, so I hope you had fun with me today testing out some of these new watercolors, these QoR colors that are super cool. These are the earth tone colors, and I actually really love these. Kind of makes me want some more because they're very pigmented and they're just a little different than regular watercolor, and I love that about them. So I had a lot of fun creating with you today. Can't wait to see what you're making. Feel free to tag me on Instagram at Two Little Owls Art, or you can join the Facebook group I have for art people down in the description. I'll link everything for you, and I'll see you next time.